I've played over 700 hours of Coral Island across the past year of early access, so I'm here to give you the best tips and tricks for starting your new adventure in 1.0. Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sarah Sunstone, and today I will be sharing 50 beginner tips and tricks for getting started with Coral Island. These tips are for your first moments, hours, and days of enjoying the game, so without any further ado, let's get right into it. Before you even start playing, let's go over some important game settings. First up, you can set your movement type to either sprint or jog. For this, choose the option that you want your character to default to. I personally go with sprint. To accompany this setting, decide if you'd like your movement toggle to be set to press or hold to change your movement style as you play. I prefer press, so I can just press shift to change from sprinting to jogging, but if for some reason you prefer to hold the shift key, you can set it to that instead. Now this next tip is incredibly important. You can actually adjust the speed of the in-game time. You can set this anywhere from 50% to the default speed of 100%. On the 100% speed, days will last around 20 minutes, but you'll get 40 minutes on average out of the 50% setting. I actually usually end up getting about an hour out of my days when you add up all the time pausing when interacting with UIs, character dialogue, and experiencing cutscenes. I highly recommend starting with your game set to the 50% speed, and as you get the hang of things, decide if you'd prefer a quicker pace or just stick with the slower style, which is my favorite. If you'd like to have quest tracking displayed on your screen, make sure to set Display Quest HUD to Show. But if you prefer less screen clutter, you can always turn it off and check your progress under the quest menu instead. Businesses around the island will have various hours of operation that you can check on the map and at the entrance of their locations. However, if your clock is set to a time format that is unnatural to you, things can get really confusing really fast. Make sure to adjust whether you'd like your game time to display in AM/PM or on the 24-hour clock. I would also like to draw your attention to the combat mode setting. Now, we'll talk more about combat in a future video all about mining, but what you need to know for now is that you can choose to enable or disable combat. If you set the combat mode to default, when you encounter a monster in the caverns, they will attack. However, if you set it to hit to aggro, the monsters will leave you alone as you explore the mines unless you strike them with your sword. Then all bets are off. I know a lot of you were hoping for a no combat mode, so please make sure to implement this setting if it's to your taste to fully enjoy your mining experience stress-free. Coral Island also offers rebinding for keyboard and mouse as well as controller, so if there are any controls not quite to your liking, visit the relevant tabs and switch things up so you can be the comfiest for your gameplay. There are also some really great accessibility options, some of which may require a game restart to implement, so definitely adjust these right away before you get too far into your gameplay. These include a dyslexic font option, along with font size modifiers, 3 different colorblind modes, along with a slider to precisely set the strength, and additional options for resizing various features like your cursor, the HUD, and the hotbar. So now that you have your game set up, hopefully to your liking, let me give you the best tips for your very first hours of playing Coral Island. In terms of character customization, my only tip is to take your time with it and enjoy creating your avatar. Don't stress too much about anything being final. You can actually change almost everything about your character later in game. The only thing you'll be stuck with is your name, your honorifics, and your farm name. Once you've actually arrived on your farm, the first thing you should do is craft a chest. You will already have the recipe unlocked for the makeshift chest, which requires 20 wood and 10 trash. You can gather wood from your farm with your axe and trash with your scythe, so collect the materials, craft a chest, and then you can store everything in here without overflowing your very limited inventory space. If you happen to find your pockets are full before you get a chance to craft a chest, what you can do is place an item or two in the shipping bin out front of your house, then craft the chest, place it, and reclaim your items. Just don't forget to do that last step, otherwise the items will be sold overnight. Also, don't be shy with the chests. Make a few once you have the materials to do so. You can label them to keep everything organized. For example, you could have one chest for forageables, one for crafting resources, and another for valuables that you're saving to donate to the museum. You will also be able to unlock recipes for chests that have more storage space, and when you do so, I highly suggest replacing your makeshift chests as soon as you can to, again, keep things organized before it gets out of hand. So do it right away. From this point forward in the game, you're free to do whatever you'd like. in any order and at any speed. So by all means, just explore the island for your first few days. Figure out where everything is, meet all the characters, roam around, and enjoy getting lost. But if that's not your playstyle and you want to get right down to business, I'm going to give you some priorities for what I think you should do first. I of course suggest planting some crops right away to start your modest farm. You will need certain crops for quests and future offerings, so at the very least, plant and water your starter seeds. Other than the starter seeds, you can purchase some seasonal crops at Sam's General Store. I would recommend planting a couple of each, and without spoiling anything, hold on to one of each harvested spring crop until you learn which ones you're going to need for an early offering. Once you uncover this information, go ahead and sell the extras. Also, do keep in mind that the crops are seasonal, so they will wither at the turn of the season. You can see how long they will take to grow when you purchase them, so you can account for that depending how late you are into the season when planting them. If you're a little short on money, you can also find wild seeds all around the island, from clearing weeds and hitting lucky clover spots. So be sure to hit those spots with your hoe. You'll find all sorts of other rewards too hidden in them, and they can be easy to run by, so keep your eyes peeled. If you're struggling with aiming your character precisely when farming or doing other activities, try out the strafing feature. You can activate this by using control on your keyboard or the left trigger on controller. This will allow you to move side to side, back and forth, in a straight line, which can be really helpful for completing farm tasks, especially if you're playing with a controller. And yes, the threat of crows does exist in this game, but you won't start off with a scarecrow crafting recipe unless you purchased one of the charity DLC packs, so you will have to first level up your farming and potentially sacrifice a crop or two before being able to craft and place one. But once you unlock the makeshift scarecrow recipe, definitely craft it and place it as soon as you can so that you can fend off any future crows before they steal too many of your crops. If you completely forget what you've planted, trust me, I've been there, you can actually click and hold the right mouse button over your crops and it will tell you exactly what is planted and how many days are remaining until they can be harvested. And yes, you can harvest crops with your scythe. You won't damage them, I promise. It will, however, use stamina, so if you're super limited on this, you can hand harvest them instead, but it will take more time to do so. Next, you can actually complete your first house upgrade on day 1 if you'd like. It's completely free. In fact, you'll actually get paid to do it, and it just requires 50 wood and 20 stone, which can be gathered using your axe and pickaxe respectively on your farmland. Once you have the materials, head to the carpenter shop, which is just north from your farm, and exchange them for a free fix-up. You just might even be able to change the exterior of your house to personalize it a bit more, and like I said, you will even receive money as a reward, along with friendship points with Joko and Dinda, so you really can't go wrong with getting this done right away. But if you choose to wait on the house upgrade because the abandoned vibes are actually kind of cute, just keep in mind that you won't be able to place any furniture inside until you do so. And you will get some free items with the upgrade, like a wardrobe and a TV, so don't buy those items either at the furniture store ahead of time and save yourself some money. Speaking of the TV, you can check this daily for the weather report, tips and tricks, and even just some really entertaining shows. There are some really fun Easter eggs and connections to the characters on the island to discover, so honestly, I wouldn't skip this. Another thing you can do on your first day, if you'd like to, is actually get your very first bag upgrade, which costs 500 coins and is available at Sam's General Store. In my opinion, this should be your top priority, because with more inventory space, you can collect more things when you're out and about, and in turn earn more money. Also, you won't be able to toggle between your two toolbars until you get this upgrade, so you'll be stuck with opening your inventory and moving items around manually until you do so. You will start out with 300 gold, and you can easily earn the extra 200 required, both by completing the house upgrade and foraging around the island. You can get the extra money day 1 by selling the forageables you find directly at Sam's General Store, and any shells you might find at the beach directly at the beach shack. You'll get the money the same day, you don't have to wait overnight like you would with the shipping bin, so go get that bag upgrade and make life just that much easier. As you're foraging, don't forget to rummage through every trash can you see. You will get tons of useful crafting resources, and you also have a chance to get forageables to gift or sell, along with fish and bugs that you can actually donate to the museum. And do not throw out your trash. You will need so much of it to process and can craft with for many different purposes that are also important, so please keep your trash. You can also actually find treasures in the trash, both underwater and on land. If you spend some time cleaning up the trash on your farm or at the beach, you might just dig up a treasure coffer with valuables inside. As you run around the island, you will also probably notice that you're startling a lot of bugs, but don't worry about trying to catch them until day 3, when you will receive a letter from Sunny and Eleanor at the beach shack who will ask you to pay them a visit to redeem your welcome gifts, which will be a bug net and a fishing pole, and then you can add those 2 skills to your repertoire. And once you start catching bugs and fish, it's so important to keep at least one of every new bug, fish, or ocean critter you might find around the island, because you will be able to donate these to the museum or offer them at the lake temple. This also goes for any gems, fossils, or artifacts you find from unlocking coffers, opening geodes, and processing fossil nodes. Do not sell them until you have first donated and offered. Now, if an item is required as both an offering and a museum donation, offer the first one. I will go more into depth on this in a future video about the town rank, but for now, please just trust me on this. If you find you're quickly running out of stamina on your adventures, you can definitely eat the candied tree seeds that you'll start out with, and you can also find more hidden all around the island in various round stone treasure chests. These are most useful in early game, so definitely go snatch them up right away, and don't be afraid to just use them up, because if you're foraging lots, the first new crafting recipe that you'll unlock from leveling up your skill is actually the candied tree seed. You could easily unlock this after your first or second night on the island if you pick up most of what you see when running around town. Then you can craft as many of these snacks as you would like, as long as you have the materials, which simply require tree seeds and sap. You can actually get tree seeds just from shaking the trees and not even chopping them down, so definitely stock up on these. In fact, even if you don't use them for making the snacks, still keep them so you can replant them, whether it be for decorative purposes or to continue reharvesting materials. If you find your pockets are still getting full, even after the bag upgrade, and more so once you have new tools, you can leave some of your tools at home to free up pocket space, but I would suggest always having both your scythe and your hoe on hand. Your scythe is useful to clear weeds that you may get stuck between, and your hoe is a must to capitalize on those lucky clover spots. Of course, please don't go into the mines without your pickaxe, and don't go diving without your scythe, but more specific tips on these activities will be coming soon. While you're out adventuring, be sure to introduce yourself to the islanders, whether or not you find yourself initially drawn to them. Once you talk to them for the first time, their location will appear on the map at all times, which may come in handy, especially if you need to hunt them down later on for a quest. A little social tip is to actually just keep talking to everyone, because you'll be surprised how many interesting facts and lore you'll learn about your favorite characters from your least favorite characters. Trust me, it's worth it. Also, don't give any of the characters violets. Sure, some of them are okay receiving them as gifts, some of them might even like them a little bit, but most of them dislike or hate them. So just don't risk it and stick to giving them other foraged flowers. Even better yet, craft the violets into flower bouquets first, and they'll never know. Don't forget to check the town calendar found at the bulletin board outside of Sam's general store to keep track of upcoming festivals and birthdays, especially if you'd like to get bonus points for giving the NPCs gifts on their special days. Even better, once you have a bit of extra spending money from all your farming and foraging, you can purchase your own calendar from the carpenters to keep track of all these happenings right from the comfort of your own home. Also, when a festival day arrives, you will get an alert right when you first wake up, so don't worry too much about missing it, but I would suggest immediately checking your map first thing in the morning to see where the festival is held and what hours it runs until, so you don't spend your whole day wandering around trying to find it and missing it, because then you're gonna have to wait until the next year to enjoy it. Even with all these exciting and full days, you'll actually want to be in bed by midnight if you want to wake up with a full stamina bar. And you will pass out if you stay up too late, or if you run out of stamina. In early access, pass out time was at 1 o'clock a.m., so unless they've changed it for 1.0, definitely be in bed before then if you want to avoid paying clinic bills. At some point, even if you think you're doing everything perfectly, you will find yourself racing home to try and beat the clock and get to bed before passing out. It's absolutely bound to happen. And oftentimes, you're going to be entering your farm from either the southern or western western exit in a hurry. So to avoid getting completely stuck in all the debris and passing out, make sure to clear a little path from both entrances ahead of time for moments like this. And oh yeah, if you're in a pinch, panicking, racing back to your farm, or trying to chase down your favorite NPC, you can actually get a little speed boost with the dash feature, activated when pressing your spacebar. There's no cooldown on this and it doesn't use stamina, so dash away, dash away. And my final tip for beginners is to have fun and take the game at your own pace. There is seriously no right or wrong way to play the game, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. These tips are just here to help guide you and offer suggestions. Focus on enjoying the experience, however that looks for you, and every moment playing Coral Island. Well, there you have it, friends. Those were 50 tips and tricks for getting started with Coral Island. And when I say we are just getting started on the channel, I mean it, because I've actually got hundreds, if not 1,000+ tips to share with you all. So please make sure you're subscribed with your notifications on to stay in the loop for many, many more videos in the series to come. And also please go ahead and give the video a like if you found this helpful. I would super appreciate it, and I promise it helps. Let me know down in the comments which of these tips helped you out the most. And with all that being said, thank you so much for watching. I love you all, and until next time, take care. And a very special thanks to Paul, Meredith, Ember, Formotus, Tansy, Becca, Anime Lover, Jack, Janes, Cisco, Phoebe, Janelle, Dragonfae, Cheese, Divine Raven, Blossom, Kayla, Wolf, Salem, Zeres, Lawrence, Fabiola, Sunshine, Kicknell, Alyssa, Floras, and Arnica, my beautiful Gemstone members. I love you all very much, and thank you so much for the extra support on the channel, which really helps to make everything I do possible and means the absolute world to me.